No, it was the same years ago. Dub Jet is going to give us a flying lesson here, or the birds are going to give him a flying. I'm not sure. He's got his... This plane has a nice little motor in it, though. Henry Nelson makes it. He's got his Jet logo hat on. Look at this guy, ready to rock him. Now the deal is he gets to fly this, and then when we go to the nets, I get to fly his best pylon plane with the high performance. And boy, if he knew how bad I was at flying pylon. You got anywhere near neutral?
No, it's not even close.
Oh my God! All right, we got to move it. Now how cool is this? We got the whole field to ourselves today. He hasn't crashed yet, but look at neutral on the handle. His neutral is about an inch different. I've never seen anybody with that much off on neutral. Anyway, we're gonna just run out the day, burn up the fuel, maybe get Strag out here later, let him fly his own 60 ship, and get a little more time on this guy. Sounds like it's running first flight here. Got the Medusa prop on it. Dub Jet flying his own plane at the circle. Oh, doing a loop. Hey! That's his first loop in 20 years. So, you think the only thing Dub Jet knows how to do is fly? These birds know how to fly. There's where we are. We took Dub and Donna to see the Statue of Liberty. We're about as close as you can get, right by Ellis Island here. Quite a nice visit we've had so far. So you guys gonna swim over there? Dub is as warm as toast. He leaves Houston, it's 100 degrees. Wendy says, yeah, it's warm as toast up here.
You want me to start taking my clothes?
It's right. And we're at the Statue of Liberty. Oh my God, you guys want me to take some pictures? Look at it, now it's raining too. It's all, oh, some days it's just not fun to be windy. Of our Dub Jet scam day is gonna be, we're gonna knock on Richard Jacoboni's shop house and ask if he knows where Wendy lives. This is Jacoboni's 10-family house here. Guy's got more money than God.
Okay.
Okay, just go down there and knock on the door, right there. Yeah, right there. This will be fun.
I flew airplanes. And
Well, we never got to pull a Richard Jacobone scam. He wasn't at home. But we're back here, and Dub's going to take some Super Tiger stuff back with him for his collection, and we're going to take some more Jet stuff. So
I got dizzy.
he got dizzy. He got dizzy. Oh.
Put on shows to people, showing how I could just turn around and run. I show you.
Dub is going to show me how to fuel a jet, a bubble jet. Is that what they call it? A bubble jet.
A bubble jet tank.
Now, I'm not sure I know, but I've only been doing this 45 years, and I can't get the bubble jet tank filled without getting air in it.
Of course, there's no fuel here, and there's no syringe.
No, so that's going to make it real hard.
In this particular case, I'm not certain how.
Even Dub Jet can't do it.
But I am absolutely convinced that I never made anything in my life that was defective. So it's got to be windy.
It's got to be windy, right? Exactly.
So
my wife agrees with you, by the way, and so does Buzz Brodak. But anyway, the deal here is if we can get this on the profile. Now we were flying today, of course, and we try to get Jacobone, but he's not home. I can at the field put this on, put a little zip tie or something that'll keep this, put some foam in between. But I need to know how to fuel it, because we've run it and hadn't gotten air in it every time.
Yeah, so
that's been a problem.
So I think the air is back bleeding, because after you fuel it, you mess around, you choke.
We're choking it and back bleeding.
But if you get just a little bit of air in here, most of the time it goes out as soon as you start the engine. But if it goes all the way into the bladder,
then you're in trouble.
It's up in there. But even so, anything less than a bubble of air size of your thumb will not make any difference, because it's going to float up to the top anyway, like any regular tank.
Right.
So.
And by the way, Elliot, this is your 35 that Dub and I just went out and look at that beauty. I think I'll keep it. Elliot who?
Yeah, he actually wanted to go fly it today.
Yeah, sure. We were going to fly your plane, Elliot. We got some sealed bearings. We're going to try some. The motors have unsealed bearings in them now. The three that I have, or the two,
they all have unsealed bearings.
Unsealed, so we can swap. I'll get Hummel's motor switched. So, and Dub's going to take some Super Tigers home. You know how the Super Tigers are hard to find? He just found a box with 10 of them in them. He says, yeah, we can melt them down and make connecting rods or something. Oh man, look at this wrench. Where does he get a wrench like this? Well, they're hard to find.
I think they make these in England.
That looks like something they'd make in England,
it was
yeah.
An aid in conversion to the metric system.
One side's metric and one side's American.
Right.
Oh man, melt those Super Tigers down. Now we had an absolutely awesome visit with Dub and Donna. But it's time to get back to work, get into the mail. Now tonight's mail this is from Mark Gerber. Mark used to live in Massachusetts, and he loves, to say the least, Bob Palmer designs. Here he's got, this is his second copy of a 56 Thunderbird. It's scratch built. Tiger 46, it's a pretty good copy in fact. Aero, I'm going to read his note. Aero Epoxy Light is the best material I've ever used. No bubbles whatsoever. Dave Midgley made the canopy. Len Harding provided the wheels and spinner. Bob Palmer autographed it. And of course is Bob Palmer and skyscraper model. This is Palmer's original skyscraper restored by Ray Firkins. I'm just reading the captions. Some pictures from VSC. Anyway, from Mark Gerber, and he's done a pretty good job of authenticating all of the, well, virtually all of the stuff that, and he's got these decals, by the way, these Vico, I gotta show this. Anybody want these decals that go on the side of the fuselage, like right here? And the Thunderbird, I think, had them up here. He had them replicated, and you can get them from Mark Gerber. Here's his address, by the way. Now this I want you to really pay attention to this. Take a look at this on your TV screen. I'm going to leave it up for about a minute. This is an IQ test. Look at the writing, read it. Now go back, read it a second time, and tell me how many F's are in it. How many of the letter F's appear in this? Now it's an IQ test. The only guy that's ever passed this test is Bob Zambelli so far, including I failed it too. Now I'll leave it up on the screen for 1 second more. If you said 3, you're wrong. Then go back up the tape and count them. And you'll see what I mean. There are 6. See? You thought you were smarter than me? You're as dumb as me. Anyway, a great IQ test. And we're going back to the shop and getting some work done. Now, if you don't see all 6 F's, go back and look at it again. Rewind the VCR. Check it out. I failed. Don't worry, I only found 3 too. There were 6 altogether. Now also in today's mail is a cool looking paint job from Randy Powell in Washington. Check the paint job out. Very original looking. Kind of got a nice, look at a number 5. Hit it. Randy, that's my number. Can't take that number. Really nice paint job. I wonder if see, I don't know. He didn't send a caption in. I wonder if he copied this off a, you know, a real air racer, or if it's just his original kind of fantasy thing, like our B-25 is. Very, very original. Very cool. Randy Powell in Washington. Number 5, the new number 5. nitwits breaking engines in over here. We got some cool stuff going on at the club field today. It's our annual antique funfly. Some stuff you might not have seen ever. We're gonna wait till the guy's done breaking in the engine and get some close-ups of these guys. Dan Banjock brought out his whole collection of stuff. And it looks like we're gonna have nice weather and a good turnout today. Yeah, there's some cool stuff happening on the field today. And I think they're back there. I don't know who's back there. A couple of guys. They got Strager back there already. Mike's flying it. But this is what we want to see. Susie Q still looking good after all these years. And of course Dan's amazing pusher. In fact, it's looking like it's such a good day. We may have an incredible turnout. I don't know. Costello has been flying Strager, trying to get some feeling for. I think he's got a Jet 60. I'm not sure, or he wants to get one. So he wanted to take some flights. This is the old style. We don't have one of the new ones yet, but we hope to have one of the new ones soon. Brian Manau's Sato 56 ship and his Nobler. And it's only 9 o'clock in the morning. We're gonna have a good turnout today. Reason we're cheering last week, you'll see it on the video from the last video. Brian ran out. He was so excited. It was a nice day. Picked up the handle backwards and blew the whole front of the plane apart. Good boy, Brian. Now, among the interesting tests to do today, Dan Banjock has his, this is a one-of-a-kind handmade muffler. And what we did is we brought up a Sato 72, a stock muffler, a 91 muffler, and Dan's muffler. We're going to do a little RPM test to see which is the least restrictive. It's nicely made. It really looks nice. And of course, Dan is going to be running this in his 30s Air Racer with a Zetron, so it won't really matter. We're, you know, the restriction, we could just go for them. Go for the least amount of restriction, most amount of power, and shut the carburetor as necessary. And by the way, Dan has already cantilevered the carb over the way we've done on all our 72s, so we'll see how this little muffler runs. You know I had a real air coupe, you know that, right?
Did you really? No, I didn't.
I like the exhaust pipe, that's cool.
Yeah.
There you go, Danny.
The Max Muffler.
Yeah.
That's a handle.
Yeah. You can use that to hold a roll of paper towels too. In a pinch, you don't have to carry your towels.
Oh, high-tech stuff here.
Yeah. Air coupe.
Got some wing on it, huh?
Yeah. That's a cool looking plane.
Oh, just something crazy up here.
Yeah. Days like today, I wish I had my air coupe back.
Yeah, I'll bet, man.
What a day to go flying.
Pitter-puttering around.
I'll be flying over the field throwing cans of oil at you guys.
You know what, if you're flying over the field in your air coupe, you look down and you're like, gee, I wish I was down there flying.
That's right. Fires. Oh! Oh, I gotta go home and get my Spitfire now. You're in big trouble, boy. Everybody's coming out of the woodwork today. This is probably the first legitimate fun fly of the season. And we're expecting to fill up the ranks. Danny Banjock. He will be putting on a show today. He's got the pusher biplane. got a 4-stroke plane. He's got 3 speed planes. He's threatening to fly, and his Miss Susie Q, Reno Air Racer, PA 61. Yeah, sounded like it had something in a filter or something. Who knows? Oh, this is his first flight? Then forget it. Let him clean it out. Very unusual model, and of course, I just love air coupes. Very cool, very cool. Anyway, Danny's getting ready over there to do his muffler test. I have to go get my muffler parts. Just a t-shirt owner, too! Oh, we gotta get to be friends. My father had more Indians than the Indians had. What is this guy into, custom cars? Holy cow. Why, do you have one of those repro ones that they just came out with? No? They're like 30 grand or something, aren't they? They're really a lot of money.
They, yeah, basically Harley clones.
Oh, there's action going on all 3 circles now. This is turning out to be a great day. Now here's a candidate for a Z-Tron if there ever was one here. See how to work the throttle, how you have to carry that thing around with you?
No, that's going to be on like a day. How'd you get it all together though? I did all that, but probably the back one. Yeah. And the fact that I did it in 3D world, and it's also, I cut a groove on the inside.
Danny, this plane's smoking more than your PA.
Wow.
Look at the smoke. I guess he's got a smoke system. I'm hoping that's what it is.
He's running Fox Super Fuel.
Yeah.
He's dusted.
Won't have to worry about mosquitoes today.
Nope.
Yeah. I know you like Cubs.
But that's what
On the back circle, Andy Harisiadis is here with his Tucker Special. I guess it's too crowded up here. He's got some young kids with him. One of them is his son. Lighter than the stock muffler, you
A
said?
little lighter.
Okay.
A little bit.
Are you going to do the test with 5% fuel?
Yeah.
And a stock 14.5 rev up, just balanced. Okay.
Even this is aluminum here.
Right, that's, I machined that, cut the
part
threads.
is, metal originally.
Does that fit inside the cowling, or does it just, you have to make a little bubble on it?
Now the cowling's like right here.
Okay.
I had to make a special wrench up to get down on
Yeah,
this
that
nut.
Amusco ground a wrench. It took them all day to grind one up.
I cut one out of 1/8-inch flat steel.
Oh!
I got it out in the car.
Well, so you're a technician. I'm a grinder. Drive along on the road and hold it out on... Karen, go faster! We'll show you how to make a wrench.
Yeah, that's, was it, 14 millimeter?
Yeah.
But I got my little lathe, I ordered a thing from a guy to convert it to CNC. It's like 1-axis CNC, so I can plug in any thread.
I did too. Here's my CNC machine right down there. Bending over to start his plane. CNC Hampshire. He's a CNH. See Tom do the machine work for you.
See Tom do the
All right, fire it up, puppy.
Where's my glove at?
I got a starter, Dan, if you're getting bored. Brian likes to flip them. Show me your finger, Brian. Now, these are the 3 macho men in our group. Every one of them's got a black fingernail and a chunk of toenail missing.
Boy, I tell you, this thing.
And Wendy has an electric starter. I don't go for this. This is not my thing.
This thing really whacked me. Oh, come on.
You know, the motorcycle I own doesn't even have a Kickstarter. They don't even make Kickstarters anymore. Zambelli always gets him running on the first flip, doesn't he? He's got some little magic trick. Prime it through the valve covers. Brian. Good thing you got a car battery to... By now the orange battery would be dead in the water. All right. What happened?
Never ever.
Attacking the prop. Oh man, what a butcher. Wow. I run that against the muffler that we used at the Nats on the Typhoon. This is a stock 91 muffler, a bent header muffler, and a 45 degree. This is a stock one, a non-stock one, and one of our real fancy ones. So, well, at the end of the day, we hope with looking at Danny's, and we'll know something at the end of this day that, well, we'll see which is the gain, which is the loss, and hopefully for Danny's thing, which is going to be the best one. About 30 more people have shown up, and it's really turned out to be a nice day. An old K&B here. Navy on, kind of a cool Navy on. Good fire. Our test plane for the Jet 60s. Like Costello's plane that's soon to have a Sato 56 in it. A Starfighter with retracts. Cool.
By chance.
All right, yeah. Oh, you got Gentlemen, I Have a Race. That thing's got what Mary's looking for,
Yeah,
Al's looking for.
That's what I brought it up for.
Yep.
This is
Steam engine stuff?
This is insane. This is the building book on how to build this project for beginners.
No, Mike's gonna build one. Mike's gonna get right into it. There's no way we're gonna do anything. Ah, there we go.
Yeah, Reno 2. Oh,
This
man.
would make a great one. This Rockwell, you know.
I tell you what, I'm
Hoover's
thinking
plane.
seriously about that.
Yeah, Joe. They
No
had
checker.
plans. You know, Dave Downey drew plans for that already.
For the Bob.
A Mustang. No,
Oh,
a Mustang.
okay.
They got really nice plans.
That's all.
At the Nats, the 91. The back is loose, but nothing bad happens. You'll get a reading on it. You got to keep tightening the back. This is a 91, a 72 with a 90-degree header, a Warren Walker header, a stock header, and this one is Dave Midgley's. So get some readings. See if you can get, and if they all stink, we'll put them back in the truck.
All right.
What do we have with a stock, the muffler that comes with the motor?
All right, we almost hit 9. Let me.
You don't have to hold that tack so close.
Yeah,
I get a feeling that's going to turn into an orbiting space shuttle.
It already did.
Yeah, I know. Not that I've ever done that. Again, he does it again. We're gonna have a 13. I'm glad you're not doing anything important.
Nine.
9. So you gained 1,000 RPM over the stock one.
Right.
Okay, now you learned something.
Let it cool down a bit.
Yeah, let it cool between. Now what you want to do, before you go any further, put the 90-degree header on here and see what the loss is with the 90-degree. It's going to be another couple hundred RPM.
Okay.
Then we get rid of that exhaust system and go to the next one.
All right.
This is the 90-degree header on a stock, totally stock muffler from the factory. This is the 91, stock 91 Sato muffler on a 90-degree header.
Also found if you start them on low throttle.
A little bit better, yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a stop start.
Pack doesn't lie.
I think we're out of fuel. I think that's what that was.
Well, it idles great.
That's freaking sickening.
Now at the end of the test, the one thing you always do at the end,
Lay it on
put
me.
your muffler back on and make sure the reading's the same.
As
that
it was in the beginning.
you haven't found halfway through the test the carburetor opened up or something.
Yeah, that was 96, 97.
So you're sneaking up on what you had.
Yeah.
With this guy's the winner so far, but
so
we don't know
far
that.
he's in the lead, but yeah, we'll recheck.
Yeah.
The only thing is we need to do.
Tighten it. Oh, your wrench fell under the bench there into the hornet's nest.
Oh no!
Look at it, it goes right into the hornet's nest.
There can't be any hornets down here.
Do you know how many people our fellow motor experts never do any of this testing? They look at a motor and say, yeah, that's a good one. And you know that's true right there. Well, we got more experts in Tampa than we have non-experts. Unbelievable.
I've heard.
Yeah.
Oh, this thing turned. The airplane turned tighter than anything, you know.
Yep.
And it's a slug.
Yeah, I know. Memory's a funny thing.
My old PT-19.
Yes.
The old Hemstrom PT-19. I had several years ago and then bought it back off a guy I sold it to. And I remember it as flying pretty good.
Yeah, your memory plays tricks on you.
Oh yeah.
Especially when you get to be my age. I can't remember where I put the, the prop wrench or something.
I just flew it. I got out the old handle I used to use and I'm flying the bird and it's like this. And I'm like, I used to fly this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wonder why you weren't the junior national champion or something. Yeah, whose idea was that? This is my Nash muffler from the 91.
Wow.
Zambelli made. This one is almost as good as yours. Now do the last one. So what I'm seeing is all of the chamber ones are better than the ones with the bends in them.
I think what happened with this one though,
How much is the volume? Well, the volume's smaller, but
when this one, that was right in the beginning,
Right.
and then as it heated up, I couldn't get the same
Okay.
I couldn't seem to get the same RPM. Maybe it was holding the engine back a little. I don't know if the whole thing was heating up.
But you're way over a stock Muffler with this.
Oh yeah.
You're over by
yeah, 700-800 RPM.
700-800 gain. Okay.
Yeah.
Keeps going under the table. And this one
Wait a minute,
reviews.
I put it in my pocket this time.
Looking like these real restrictable. These are quieter for sure, but
I wonder why they're worried about making a 4-stroke real quiet.
yeah, if you have no muffler.
It's already so much quieter.
If you have no muffler, it's and learning stuff. I find this very interesting. Now, if I can get Dubjet to part with his, if we can make a Dubjet 4-stroke, I think we got it made. What's that?
Let's try something. Let's kick the throttle back. I've been finding that a little bit. The RC are starting them on low throttle. Yeah,
They suck fuel better is what happens.
Yeah.
They suck fuel. You know, with a Z-Tron, you can move that open, shut, start the motor, open it right up.
I wish these things had idle better though.
Yeah, that's terrible. That one's real good too.
Yeah.
That one's real good.
That one's very good.
Potato, all right. Oh, I like
Marion
these.
ever comes back with my toolbox.
That's a 30.
He went back to get.
Yeah. No. I left a part of the grill home, but my toolbox was in the car.
Oh, you got a nice little.
Listen to that silly sound.
Great.
Hey, Kevin's dad gave me $40
Oh, okay, great.
He's got an AMA license.
We learned in today's testing was all of these volume mufflers that Zambelli and Banjack have been making are definitely a positive gain over the ones that come with the motors. So looks like they're going in the right direction. And we'll be getting more of these made in the near future. Now what we want to do, we got the test stand set up. This is Elliott Scott's Jet 35. It's brand new. We want to run some short break-in runs on it, get it ready, and then we're going to be sending it out to England to him. He'll be the first one in England to have one. And if you've never seen one of these, this is what's going to be hopefully going into B25, assuming we get all our throttle linkages worked out on our Z-Tron ports. Machined from bar stock. Richard Oliver took orders for 10 of them at the VSC contest, so I guess there's some generic interest in them. And Dub has already made changes to them that make them better, in my book anyway. This one has a sealed bearing. I think that's an improvement, even if a small one. What could be better? Even have free food and free iced tea today. Thank you, Al and Mary. What a turnout they got today. There must be 75, 80 people here. Really turned out to be a beautiful day. I want you to tell everybody, this is the first plane you've ever built. Okay.
to help with Bob Bose.
Okay, so we know Bob's a good man. And it's a Sky Ray. First flight today? You haven't flown it yet?
No, I'm gonna start it up in a minute.
How you doing with those flying lessons, those pilot lessons?
Good.
Good? They let you solo yet?
I don't care about the guy on the right side no more. I think I can.
Ah! You know what you do? Open the door and push him out, and then you'll see.
5,000 feet. Okay.
And they just keep coming in. It looks like we're going to have 60 people here
No
today.
good? I don't know.
All three circles are going constantly. The food's going like water. Donuts, iced tea, coffee. What a fun fly. What a great day. Glad we could share it with you. And everybody's breaking motors. Everybody's getting ready for the upcoming flying season. This really looks like it's probably the first really competitive day of the year where we've had a crowded field. Flowers are starting to come out at our field. What a day. Woo! Moment everyone's waited for. So what's the story with this? This is what vintage? World War II? Post-World War II?
A little later than World War II. Actually around 1949, 1950, I think.
49, 50, okay.
Plane's called a Topping 100. It's got a torpedo 32 in it. Let's see.
Nice wheels.
Heliarc wheels.
Whoa. Nice wheels. Maybe I can, when he's not looking, they may appear on my next Cardinal.
Oh, everybody in stunt, you know, nice thin wheels that can fit nice thin.
Oh yeah, you bet. And they don't wear out like those dumb Dave Brown wheels.
Or leave foam down the bottom.
Yeah,
of the airplane.
every 10 flights you got to replace the wheels. Nice hinges even. Look at these hinges. Wow.
Okay, here we go.
They guarantee 3,000 miles.
1,000 miles.
Have you ever flown this yet, Dan?
Nah.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
That sounds expensive.
Yeah. No, let's just turn it inverted now. Okay. That didn't go as planned.
I think
You did a great job.
Any damage, Dan? Other than me stepping on your lines, let's
Oh,
see.
that was my basswood wingtip that came off. Okay.
What was it? Just roll it? You know what? I'll guarantee you don't have enough tip weight in it.
I got a lot out there.
It didn't look like a lot from me.
No.
I pushed on this too.
Oh, you know, you did nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong. Because it was after you let it go that it ran into the problem. I actually think I may have caught a line on the grass.
I got it on video. Let me back it up and take a look. Then we can hang somebody.
Well, I'll tell you
What's your name, son?
Let's give it another try.
Yeah.
Let's give it another try.
You didn't even break the prop, did you?
No. Really?
Find the tip.
Really?
You may not even see it on the video, but there's just action going on everywhere here. It's been a great day. And tomorrow we get back to working on the B-25. Dub Jet would have no trouble flying this. He'd give him a flying lesson. Banjock, Dub Jet's gonna have to give you flying lessons here.
It tipped once, right as you let it go, then it straightened out. Right. Red. Yeah. I think I put like an ounce of tip weight.
Flight 2 coming up. I'd be putting more tip weight in it.
Flight?
Looks like we're ready for Flight 2 here. Could be exciting. You want me to fly it, Dan? That clearly looked like pilot error to me. Ah, we need Dub Jet. Where's Dub Jet when we need him the most? What do these guys know about flying a speed ship? Sir, where is Dub Jet when you really need him? Danny, put an ounce of tip weight in it.
Turn over, looks better the other side.
As if this wasn't enough, all day there's been a Sequoia going over our field. I'm not sure if he's been flying into one of the, there's one airport on either end of the field. We don't know which one he's going into. What kind of toys we got in here today, Robert?
Oh, I got the little 4-stroke paper.
Oh, let's go, baby. Who wants to drive a Ferrari when you can fly your control line stunt plane?
I heard that.
Bob Zambelli's. What year is this, Bob?
67.
67? Appropriately enough, there's Windy's 95 Windstar with 200,000 miles on it. You really know how to hurt a guy. You gonna fly this today?
Sure.
Got the throttle working?
Yep.
All right.
Last time I flew it, it worked like a charm.
All right, throttle man. Let's see some. And in case yours doesn't work, I brought mine too.
Now this is the radio control because I haven't got a Z-Tron yet.
Oh, yeah, I know. Rub it in, rub it in, rub it in.
When I get one, I'm going to put it in this. But this has got a Sato 30.
You need a spare motor. Al Knight's got one sitting on a test stand. We just go take it when he's not
30?
looking. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're pond scum. You know,
Yeah,
they don't make
pond
any
scum,
power.
I know, yeah.
This is about the size of a Nobler, actually, in the wing. And it flies beautifully with it. The only thing is,
Well, let's fly it. Talk is cheap.
the only problem with the small one is it's a little bit too sensitive. What I've got to do is,
Can't make the handle smaller?
either make the handle smaller or one of those. But well, you'll see it fly in a few minutes.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'll get this stuff.
They say this plane flies like a dog.
And what I'm going to do with him, I think he's got the temperament for it, is that I want to
He's a killer. Oh, he bites too.
Professionally trained. Like,
He
Claire
bites.
comes with me and I really train him, but the professional trainer teaches me.
Breaking in motors on 3 different test stands here. It's unbelievable. It is our day to die for. Now, if you remember on the last tape, we went and picked Bob up from his real, this is a copy of his real plane, of course. What I'll be impressed with is when he makes a model of his Ferrari.
It must be just that happened on the Ringmaster.
I'm already thinking of what we're going to do tomorrow on a B25. It's B25 time. I'm getting excited. Get some more clear on a fuse, get the wing inked, the hinges done, but we don't have that much to do. Another 2 weeks of work, 3 weeks, and we'll be right out here. But you got his throttle control working. The only thing spoils this whole presentation is when somebody else starts that engine up.
Al, that's that engine.
Yeah, I know.
This is the same engine you're breaking in, Al.
Windy, that ain't bad for pond scum.
Pond scum it is, baby. It must be pond scum. I saw it in Stunt News.
PN is trying to understand motorcycle racing,
Yeah.
and I ain't seen one of them guys do a square one.
Nope. I seen one do a slide down a runway the other day at Suzuka.
Hey, Bob, watch out, the grass a little high in some areas. Okay.
How appropriate, right in front of the yellow Volkswagen Beetle. Adjust your needle valve and walk back out to the handle. Save all that money having to buy a stooge. Back, we got the Bearcat with retracts going on back there. Got the wheels up. Now we've had basically the whole day in bright sunshine, and it looks like it's clouding up and it's going to rain right now. But we've already cheated them. We've already got the whole day in. A banner day, a great club funfly, one of the functions every year that's a ball. Now this is the plane we were originally going to give Dub Jet when he was up here flying, just to get his reflexes rocking and rolling. Anyway, it was really great having him. Donna, we enjoyed your company every minute of the time you were here. It's unbelievable. Thing of the day, we always end the day with a to the death duel between Al Knight and Dan Banjock. Is this to the death? Is this to the death?
We're gonna try and survive this.
Ah, that's not even really worth videotaping.
Now, Bob had something.
Coward combat.
You either run out of plane or fuel, whichever comes.
No. Come on.
Bob told one guy in a combat match, Bob said, hey, I'm running low on fuel, and the other guy said, I'm running low on airplane.
No, we don't need waste time on that.
This is going to be a fair fight, right, Al?
Fair to the loser.
Fair. Who's flying, Mary or Al?
Wow, I'm not going up against Mary. Are you out of your mind?
She'll pull your pants down while you're flying. It's been over 30 years that I've been coming to this club field, and there's still no 2 days exactly alike. And I've been lucky enough in my lifetime to have a lot of great ones. Today is certainly getting added to the list. Danny's up first.
Let the carnage begin.
Let the carnage begin is right. I'm glad these guys aren't on the Texas combat team. Look at this. Wow, boy.
They don't have enough power to catch the streamer.
The motor will shut off when they hit the streamer. Oh, you got a cut, no?
I got it. Yeah, I got it. Man got a cut. They still have a lot of streamer. That's good. That is fun, though. It's almost time for a collision.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Woo, okay. Okay.
Now they lean out.
Somebody got a cut here.
Yep. That was Dan Streamer.
Go for the elevators.
That usually happens.
Oh. Here we go, here we go. Yeah, the guy's got a triplane over there. Looks like a little scale model. You cowards! Yeah. Oh, McCoy 35 too. Oh my God. Or 19. What is it? What size is it?
It's a 19.
Probably looks like a 19, yeah.
Yeah, I delivered.
Nice, nice. Is that a kit or did you make that from
I blew it up from a plant.
a plan? Wow, that's nice.
The kit is a Gillows kit,
Right, right.
but I used it as a plan and I blew everything up about 150.
And your point is...
Come up with it. I think somebody in this club has a triplane. And I was
There's a guy from Connecticut has a real big one, like a with a 90, I think.
about this size. He
I
was
don't know.
here a couple of weeks ago. I saw him.
Well, that's nice.
Isn't it pretty?
Yeah, not the nice, like a realistic finish. The pilot's nice and everything.
Yeah, well, I just,
He wants to know whether it's trimmed out right or not.
you know, I just kind of look it over and see what might be wrong.
So look at it, fly it. The thing that's wrong is it's not flying.
Yeah.
Get Banjock, where is he?
Hey.
Danny! Come on, this guy needs some help. Show him a little of that Philly Flyer technology. He's the best flyer around. Let him take a look at it. No, he wants to know if it's in trim. Take a look at it, Bob.
Isn't that pretty?
Just check the
Look like it's balanced pretty close, or?
The fuckers were flying Messerschmitts.
balance point's supposed to be just behind.
Doesn't seem too bad.
No, no.
Behind the strike.
If anything, a little on the nose, heavy side.
Which is good, yeah. Nose heavy is
That's
good.
what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, that's whatever. And tip weight wise.
And if, yeah, do you have tip weight in it too?
Yeah, I can tip weight out in here.
Yeah, you don't want to fly it without enough tip weight.
Yeah, he's got good tip.
All right, cool.
That's beautiful.
He wants you to fly it.
No, not yet. But I'll
I think that's cool. You guys want to fly combat? Get into it.
This is combat.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not...
You don't think the Red Baron flew a ringmaster or something, do you? That's cool as can be. It's got the little guns and everything on it. Come on, Dan.
No, you're not serious, right?
What?
You know,
You need a SPAD, don't you have the... Now what I'm trying to do is schedule all these little jobs so that we always wind up with something we can sand and something we can spray. Now in this case, the clear that we sprayed on this the other day, a couple days ago, that's all drying up. The longer we let it dry, the better. This part is buffed out and ready to install. And I haven't worked on the cowlings yet, so the cowlings are one little thing. And what I want to do is I want to save the wing for the last thing. Because then as the clear on the wing is drying, I can be buffing out all the other parts. That'll kind of help me schedule things efficiently that way. So what I'm going to do is try to get the cowls done today. And if possible, if there's any time left over, I'll start sanding these out, even though it would be best to let them dry a day or two. And then I can get the next couple coats of clear on them. We only have partial clear on the fuselage and all the parts like the tail section. So my goal here is always to have something drying, something I can sand, something I can buff from this point on. I never want to get it all in one shot. What I do before I actually ink the cowls is look through some of we have plenty of choices on inking these. Some of the different ways that they've split the can. Here, this one shows it very well. This one has a good view. I always want to look for a couple of views that show, see there's two different types of cowls. This is the one we're going to replicate right here. So I have 2 or 3 different choices of, I had a couple of views in here that were real good. And I want to make up a little inking template as the first thing. The first thing I want to do is figure out exactly how the cowl flaps lay in. I want to, with ink, simulate the flap that they're open. Now, you may think, well, why don't you just cut it? Well, what's going to happen every time you wipe the plane off, it's going to be vulnerable. So by having them in ink, even though it's a little less realistic, I think it'll be realistic enough, and the trade-off is handling the plane. I know from the past experience, anything that if you turn the plane into a porcupine, it gets to be virtually impossible just to wipe it off and do the normal everyday maintenance on it. So first thing I gotta look for a really good drawing of the cowling and make a template for the cowl flaps. Now this will be a good one for us to work with. Now we've done this version, so we're gonna need to have an ink line here, and we're gonna try to simulate these in as scale a position as we can. This we're not gonna be able to do, and keep in mind we don't have the hole cut for the muffler yet, or the needle valve, so we're still going to have to deal with that after the thing is all buffed out, and I hope that's going to be okay. If it isn't, I'll just give the cowl an extra coat. Now I may later this week have the exact, see, I'd love to have it exhaust like that, but I'm not losing any sleep if it doesn't. I know that we're getting into that area where maybe it'll just be a little too cute and I'll be sorry I did it. And I want this to be as interchangeable as possible, even to the point where the reason I didn't have Dub make 2 engines where the exhaust face out or face in is then I can't switch the engines. I want to take the most powerful of the 2 engines, put it on the inside of the circle, if they're not exactly equal, or at least have the option of switching them if, you know, we get to that point where that becomes one of the choices we want. I mean, if we want to, we could even simulate some of these riveting Zeus fitting kind of things, but again, I'm going to start by making the cowl flap template. I'm going to make a template. I already made one, in fact. I just have to make it over onto 64th plywood. So it has the V shape where they open up. It has a V shape. A whole variety of these little templates. It's a little more sophisticated than it first looks because I have to get the curve in the flap line exactly right. That can't be off even a little bit. That has to be perfect. And all of these little angles, I don't want to have it that it's too spread out or it's too close together. So what I did, I just laid a piece of tape there just to give myself a little look at what that would look like if I use this. And I can see that's just a little bit too much. Now I want these gaps to be just a little less, so what I'll do is take a little bit of the angle off of this. And a slight adjustment like this in the final product, and this I'm sure is going to consume a good part of the day. So the choices are you can rush through it and it'll look less good than you'd like, or you can just make the template over and over. In this case, probably make 20 of them by the time I'm done. But then at least the template will be a guide. I can use it over and over again on both of the cowls, and they should be completely symmetrical. Because if they're not symmetrical, and what I did, I laid out the center line of the cowl, just so I would be starting with, let's just see if we're getting closer here. We're getting there. I need less angle. There's a very small part at which it'll look realistic, and a very short, it'll drop off the other end and look like it's not realistic, and I'm hoping I can achieve that illusion. Everything we're doing with this plane is an illusion. Let's just see if we're getting closer and closer, and we'll just keep working on it until we get ready to do a test. See, it also has to meet up to that line perfectly too, or else this line will look choppy. Before we actually lay any ink out on this, I want to clean this thoroughly with M600. That's always a good spot, and if I still see I'm getting little spots where the ink isn't sticking, I'll wipe it with talcum powder. That's another good trick. A little test just to see if I would like this spacing, which is pretty close to scale, but I can still adjust it. I can wipe this right off, of course. Start all over again. I want to create the illusion that the cowl flaps are open without having to deal with a bunch of pointed, sharp, not too strong objects when I'm done. Now the other criteria is I want to get them spaced on a scale plane. The bottom one is just a little bit larger, so I took that into account. So when I get to the bottom, the one that's right behind the engine is just a little bit bigger than the rest. We'll see if that seems to work out. Template, of course, what I did, I cut as much away, put the 3 layers of 1/8 inch tape, so now I can just conveniently, once each line dries, and again this is going to get time consuming, I can lay this in, accurately line it up, and use that, just ink around it. So laying out the whole side of one side of a cowl, I realize what's not looking right here is that this part is just a little bit too wide relative to the scale drawing. So what I'm going to do is just, it's as simple as pie now, to just make up another one. Make it up, I'm guessing, 1/8 of an inch thinner. Same angles, but just keep this curve and make it a little bit thinner. The cowl flaps just look a little bit too large, but that's what's easy to do with this whole system. And just take a little Windex and wipe it right off, and then take some M600. This is what's nice about having a system that, if we had airbrushed these on, of course, and we'll do some shading, well, we wouldn't be able to make this change quite this conveniently. Windex will take ink right off even after it's dry as can be. Now we need to make up a little, and this is how I've arrived at pretty much everything in this project, is make it, look at it several times, and by looking at this I know I just need to make it a little bit thinner and I'll be in good shape, hopefully. By looking at the drawing I can see that the cowl flaps are almost square. That's it, they're just a little bit more than square, and I had them where they were just a little bit, they were a lot more than square. So let me just make up another template off camera and we'll come back, try again. Now if we made it too thin, guess what? Wipe it off again, and when you're happy with it, hey, then we'll do the other cowl and finish the job up. Amazing how many things are just as simple as making it too big, making it too small. Look at the drawing. Make yourself happy that it's within the limits of being scale that you're going to be happy with. Now trying to ink on a line like this is a little bit of an annoying thing because it's hard to get it. Now when I lay out the next one, of course, what I'll do is with that very fine point pen, any little variation I can see in this, I'll take care of it then. Again, on the curved surface, a little bit tricky in terms of trying to hold it straight up and down. What I actually have to do is lay this out, lay out one side, see if I'm going to be happy with it. If not, make up another template. So that's what's nice about this, making 64th plywood templates. It's relatively convenient. I thought about this long and hard about having these cowl flaps, just cut them in with a Dremel tool, and I remember on the Seafire how many times I broke the cannons off or how many times I'd hooked the tail hook, and I wanted to at all costs avoid turning this plane into a porcupine. Now that to me looks a little more, we're going in the right direction anyway. Till I lay out this whole side and I can look at it, I won't know if I'm really going to be happy with it. Now it looks a little bit more like what I had envisioned, and in fact I'm going to finish up one cowl and then make a decision if we're going to go with it or change the template. Until we put clear on it, it's very easy to change it. I took my really thin template so I could connect all the dots. In other words, otherwise these had a tendency to look like tiles that didn't have a straight grout line. As soon as that dries, then I can pull this off. I think it's probably already dry already. Now I can get a good look at, I have the wide flap right under the engine where it should be. This part right under the supercharger, turbocharger, whatever it is. There's one line that I want to get right on center, so what I try to do is lay it out exactly with tape. It's a cowl separation line that goes right through the center, so I'm referencing off the turbocharger, and also a secondary check that I'd be the same amount of distance away on both sides. And of course it splits right under the turbocharger. Now before I go any further on this, I want to get the other one done so there'll be a match set. Now with some of the riveting, I've tried to make the rivets on the cowl in a size that would look almost scale. On the real plane, these are probably not rivets, they're Zeus fittings. Now, next thing I want to do is put a little shading on these. Same as we did on a fuselage, just shade the edges with the airbrush with a little bit of black mixed with silver. Create a little bit of a 3D effect. Mind, this part is difficult to hold in position. You got the airbrush cooking here. So what I tried to do is put a little, on a roll of paper towel, squeeze it up and put it in there. The objective here is to do it very, very lightly. We don't want anything really. All the stains will be going down. And actually, it's such a nice day, I'm hoping I can get some clear on this today. Now the top one we'll have to deviate from our norm of putting it on one side or the other and do it on both sides. Now we need to get the other side. These will be on the upstroke. Again, this is usually pretty easy. The only problem you have with this is overdoing it. I think it's the most effective when it's just the slightest little bit. Now I want to get this side on there. I was looking for the tie. See, glad I know what I'm doing. All of the stains that we're doing are going to be going from the line back, as if the airstream were carrying the stains back. Now it's just my opinion, and I've done this a lot of times where I've gone too far and went and just had to repaint the whole part. But just the slightest little bit of this, when the sun hits it, because this has some of this B25 silver mixed in with the black, so it kind of sparked. Look at this phone today. Oh, I can't believe it. It's hard to believe. The minute you start something, the phone goes ringing off the hook. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to be real judicious about this shading. I want this to look like, obviously, as realistic as possible. But now I'm going to let that dry for a couple minutes and then get ready it's a nice enough day. We could shoot some clear on here and see what that highlighting looks like. What's nice about doing this shading is when you take it out in the sun, it kind of it pops. It's much brighter once it's in the sun. That's why I tend to try not to overdo it when I'm down under fluorescent lighting, because once I'm out in the sun like this, ooh, it just comes right to light. And this silver, I don't know if you can see it on the, I'm trying to put this coat on dry. But the second coat, I'll add a little thinner to it. You can see it's much brighter in the sun. Now after the second coat of clear, you can see that how that shading really jumps out at you. But it's very easy to overdo it. You can see the little sparkles from the silver that's in there. The silver tends to sparkle it up just a little bit extra. Let's just say that's got to dry overnight before we do any more work on it. In today's mail, we got a couple photos of Joe Owen's shop. Looks like he's got it pretty nicely organized. And a nice note, of course. He said, "I'm getting ready to make sawdust." Joe, I hope you're enjoying the videos. Hope you're enjoying the whole hobby. This is going to be the best year ever. Trust me, best year ever. John Pothier has graciously laid out some military-looking, this is my AMA number, of course. I'm not going to bother with the USA part because I don't have any intention of ever flying this in F2B. They'd probably make a special rule against me. They don't seem to like throttle control. Anyway, this is one step now that I've got done toward, well, getting ready to ink the wing this afternoon once I get done with all my mail. Thank you, John Pothier. What I wanted to do here is I wanted to carefully cut out one of these. With a brand new blade, and I want to try, I had an idea. See, one of the things I hate about, I mean, of all the absurd rules in the AMA, having your AMA number on a scale plane is just bizarre. As if nobody would know whose plane that is. But anyway, we do have to live in the rules just like anything else in life. So what I'm going to try to do is make a little stencil here from this, the little piece that John has provided. And I'm going to try to fog it in because I don't want it to stand out. I don't, you know, keep in mind what I don't want to have happen is that you see these big gaudy numbers on a wing. I'd like them to be like they would maybe disappear. And then maybe what I can do is outline them with a pen. Since all of these lines, there are no curves in this, it's all straight lines, I might be able to do that. Again, whenever you want to do this, just use a cutting pad. Cutting pad is always the best way. Now there are a lot of other ways. Frisket, of course, is one. But the method that I've had good luck with in the past doing this type of little stuff is just plain old rubber cement. So I'm going to try that first. It's going to go on the outboard flap. And I'd like these in position first so I can do the ink around them, rather than make a box or something with the ink lines where these would be going right in where I want the ink to go. Anyway, I'm going to just cut these out and then we'll see how that works. By the way, there's even another way I've seen guys do. They just wet this. I can't remember the guy's name. Somebody in Texas that was a car and beautiful work. Just wet this and laid it in the wet water, sponged up, and it held it right in place. But I know the rubber cement seems to work for me, so that's the method I'm going to go with here. Now the rules say this must be on the outboard panel, which I've determined the least obnoxious place for it to be is on the almost on the end of the flap. But believe me, it's hard to believe that somebody could need this number to identify a hit and run or something. Anyway, we want to just get some idea where we'd like this to go. Of course, we can see right through the paper, so that makes it easy. Now, one of the things I can do is just run a, I guess a parallel line from here would be the best. Because none of the lines are straight 90-degree lines, they're all swept forward. And I want to confine this in somehow. Now I want to estimate, just get some idea here. Yeah, when I put the letters on the Spitfires and on the Typhoons, I just get, makes me crazy to think that that's an important thing. Let's see where we would, maybe down here a little bit. Okay, so I just want to have a rough idea about where that's going to go. Ordinary rubber cement that you'd buy in any office supply store. Very inexpensive. You probably need 1 jar per lifetime. The trick is to get it on smooth. Don't worry about getting any extra on. Make sure there's plenty. Now, because we have this pretty much laid out where we want it, okay, now the trick is just press it down, give it a minute to dry. It takes about a minute. Press the edges down. While it's drying, I can lay out the center piece of the 6, because it never really gets permanent. You can always just maneuver it around a little bit. We've done a lot of nose art this way. Again, the alternative way would have been to cut a frisket. You have a minute or so to kind of line this up. Look at this. Nice going, Wendy. And if it loses its stick, it's pretty easy to figure out. Just put a little more rubber cement on. Now the thing is to let this dry, give it, a couple of minutes anyway. And then we need to rub out all the extra rubber cement from the inside, but you can't really do that until it's dry. Now here it goes, it's just turning to that tackiness. And you always want to wipe away from points. If you wipe toward a point, you tend to peel it up. You see the little rubber cement comes out, work away from points. Same thing here. And of course you could use this on any stunt ship for any kind of numbering, lettering, nose art, some kind of fancy trim if you were painting on a chickadoodle or something. It's a good idea if your hands are clean. I just washed mine before I started doing this. And when you airbrush, you want to hold the airbrush at 90 degrees. You don't want to shoot this way or this way. You want it to be 90 degrees and paint relatively dry. Okay, it looks like this is pretty dry right now. It's not moving. But you just want to get all a little... Jimmy Casale was the one that showed me this the first time, and he was laying out a frisket with I call it a frisket, it's not a frisket, a pattern with hundreds of little stars and that Michael Ferguson had done, like a real artistic thing, and I thought, wow. Now the only thing with this is you really have to outline the edges, because you don't get really ultra crisp edges. But then you don't get ultra crisp edges with a lot of things, including frisket. At least I don't. So this, in our case, is the devil we know instead of the devil we don't know. Now, I'm going to take the paint that I used to shade it, which was a black mixed with a little bit of B25 silver just to give it a sparkle, because I want these letters to be, I don't want them to stand out, you know, like in an obnoxious way. I want this to kind of just blend into the background. I take this so that the surface I'm painting on is not tilted down, and I want to spray 90 degrees directly to that surface. Then I always start off of the material, kind of hold this steady. No, I don't want that too wet, although that doesn't look too bad. I don't want to build it up any more than I have to, because otherwise I'll just have a rough edge. Now we'll just let that dry. It's best to let this dry till it's totally dry, or even better overnight. And since we have plenty of work to do on the wing, what I'm going to do is just put this aside to dry and do a little bit of time I have this afternoon work on the wing. Now what I wanted to do, I decided rather than inking today, because it's a paintable day, and we're looking at 3 or 4 days of rain in the, see, I'm always trying to gauge this. So what I thought would be good, because I can paint today, is just lightly sand, and this is 1200 paper. I'm just scuffing this up really more than anything else. Scuff up all the parts that have half of the clear on, and I can get all that clear drying. And then when we have the 3 days of rain, I'll be locked in the cellar here. It'll probably be 2 or 3 days to totally ink the wing, and the nacelles, of course, it's a big part. So I'll have that done. So what I'll do, and I'll do the rest of this off camera, just get this all sanded down. All the parts that have clear, I can pretty much just knock it down. I'm not trying to get it dead flat or anything, just trying to get off all the high spots, all the high edges. And you can see how quick that knocks down with 1200. But that'll get me ahead in terms of scheduling more work. A week ago we were here with Dub and Donna, and we knocked on the wrong door. We knocked on his laundry door, so now we know that it's the middle door we gotta knock on. Oh, it was pouring rain.
He was in the shop.
Yeah, we're gonna go see the Stuka man. This wasn't dug up. Yeah, this is his shop right here. Look at the security system he's got.
Come in.
All right. They're digging a grave. Now he said this shop is immaculate. Let's see what it really is.
This is a bust.
Oh, let's see the Stuka, man.
I told you no camera.
Doug Jet wants to see this Stuka so bad. Look at this. He's got his documentation out. He thinks he's going to document. Let's see.
I told you no camera.
Come on, Connie. That's okay. I'm the boss. All right. How's that look? Da 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 da. Oh, Matt and Newman, eat your heart out. This is gonna be so cool.
Well, I don't know.
Oh man. Oh, Rich, that's looking good, baby.
Well, I'm glad.
So has he been behaving himself?
You know, when they...
Look at his
Oh,
cockpit.
the sound is on.
You could tell us the truth about Richard.
We were,
Even the most embarrassing things are not off limits on Windy videos.
we were having a discussion just prior to your having knocked on the door.
Uh-oh.
No, change that. We don't want to hear about these marital things.
Saved by the
Save the marital things. You got a soda here, Rich?
No, but I got water.
Yeah, water's good. Man, we're roasting out in that field.
Nice.
That is going to be a kill. Matt Newman is dead.
I don't have the
Look at this. Rich, the canopy. Now, you got the wheel pants, right?
No.
Show them the wheel pants.
No, I don't have the wheel pants here either.
Oh, man.
What do you have
Looks
that
good.
camera on for?
It's good because I want to
Look at all
embarrass
this-
you.
Look at all of this.
Dub emailed me and he said, I want to see the Stuka. I've been telling him about it. He wants to see. People want to see.
You know, I got to stand
It
the
looks
rest
good.
of the day. Believe me, the last thing I want to do is
Yeah.
sit down now.
Put the flaps on. Put it together.
Excuse me, Wendy.
It's got a nice thick wing in it. It won't be. Look at those seats. And,
There you
oh,
go.
man. You got Matt Newman's whole family in the cockpit there. Plus his Matt Newman's Stuka website is in there. It's on the machine. Oh, man. Rich, you've outdone yourself.
I don't know.
Now you could be proud. Martine, I'll make sure Martine gets a copy of this video. Martine, eat your heart out.
I don't know. I
Why,
tell
has
you,
he built his Stuka?
Nah, he builds these things. Every one's the same as the one before. You paint the leading edge a different color. You know.
Look,
see, it's not finished
look at this
properly.
nice remote.
Yeah.
Remote.
Wow, look at this. Nice ink work. I got to go finish the
See,
ink work on the
you can't touch it
B25.
because now,
I know. You
if
get
you touch
fingerprint.
it-
Wear rubber gloves. Wear rubber gloves. I'll give you a box of rubber
you
gloves.
know, I have, Wendy, thank you.
Rubber gloves is what I was using.
Because
Rich,
now
it
with
looks
the-
great.
You like it? Or you're not just saying that?
Do you have anything you want to say to Dub and Donna now? Because you blew them off when we came all the way up here in the pouring rain. Look, he's laughing. He says, oh boy, I'm such a superstar. People come all the way from Texas to see
glad
me.
you didn't see my shop.
Oh!
I'm embarrassed. I'm
Oh,
embarrassed.
man.
Look at this pig pen.
Oh, Rich. Rich, it looks great.
Thank you.
I don't care what Sue says about you.
Pretty airplane.
Yeah, you copied one. Okay.
copied this.
But when you make it, if you want to make a scale model of a certain one, like Al Raby makes a certain, you can. No problem. If you don't, like Joe Adamusco, it doesn't have to be exactly.
No, of course.
You could invent it, you know,
yeah,
fantasize about it a little. Look at the rivets. Did you put rivets along the leading edge?
No.
But the yellow up on the nose. Flip to that page where it has all the yellow. You really should get some yellow. Even just the rudder would help.
Go ahead.
See, my
do it now.
Spitfires, you got to, they disappear at the
nightmare.
club field.
It's a
No, it's not. You could do this. It'd be easy. You don't even have to re-ink it.
It's called Glance,
Do that.
and I want it...
And put a stripe. Just make a band. Here, Rich. Make a band going around. That would be no big deal at all.
For you, it would be no big deal. For
It's
me,
no,
it would
for
be.
you, it's no
For
big
me, it's
deal.
a big deal.
I would paint this guy on here. He looks
I
pretty
have
neat.
that.
8 and a half.
Somebody wants
But you know how difficult
Come
it
in,
is
please.
to get this?
Yes, tell me your name in case someone else picks
What was that?
Okay, Maria, thank you.
put this in a first. Yeah.
Sure.
Mike and Susan.
Anyway,
Would you
pretty
rather
cool
call me
plane.
back on this?
Rich Jacobone.
Okay.
Now this, of course, is a friend from England, Paul Winter. Now Paul had an accident, and he sent some pictures of his, not sure we should define this as crash repair, Paul. Now what he had actually had happen was he says he chipped the prop on takeoff with his Sato 72, and the inboard wing was destroyed. Well, that's not the only way to destroy a wing, but that's a good one. And what he did, he had templates for all the ribs, because he's probably making illegal Cardinal kits all over England, knowing him. Anyway, he's got some from the templates. He made little pieces to reinforce it. And it looks like from the captions that he's wrote on each picture, this is the way he made templates to fix it now. Much like the Strager repair we did, he had to replace the trailing edge piece, so you can see here that's already ready to go. And by the way, this looks like it's a tremendous problem, but when you get started on it, it really goes pretty quick. And it looks like he didn't have to remove the covering on the other side. I'm just looking, I'm trying to read his caption. Another picture of what he did to replace like pretty much half ribs. What he did, he just overlaid the ribs, and obviously that's a decent enough way to do it. Now we've put a lot of planes back together, and this certainly looks like he's done it. This would be one of the ways I would have approached it too. And because it's the inboard wing, if you wanted to, you could get back in here after you cap strip it and sheet it and hog out some of that wood, but plane with a thick wing, it's not really necessary. Now, this shows some of his trailing edge reinforcements, and it certainly looks like a decent enough way to do it. Here's another photo. The point is, no matter how you do it, at this point in time, you need to take care of business. This is ready for the cap strips, and of course, coming up on the end of this repair. Ready for the finishing and the Brodak dope and whatever else. Hey. Good repair, Paul, I have to tell you. I think that's going to work fine. I don't think there'll be any penalty at all. Let me know how it works, and I'm glad to see that you made some progress on getting some good information out of the videos. I'll send these on to Stunt News. Now we're about ready. It's this time of year. We got a lot of conflicting things happening. We're going to meet Joe Adamusco this weekend down at the Palisade Park Field where we fly on concrete. And one of the things I wanted to do, now I've put it off for quite a while. I've already got the plane test flown and I'm real happy with it so far. Two things are happening. Dubjet is making up another low time, kind of a spare test backup motor. We're working on that, and I have the grass gear already made, and you can see with the grass gear, here's what I always assume everything I'm going to fly right away is going to be at the circle burner field. The grass gear give, 2 inches of prop clearance, and they sit very far forward. Now I'm going to make another set of wires up, may not get to make the legs today, so that this sits back far enough that in essence when I do this, it'll almost, see if I let this go, whoop, it goes right back. But I want it to almost, in essence, just teeter-totter on the gear. And that's usually because I know the CG on this is real close to being where it's going to be when I actually get to fly it. I'll also be able to use one size smaller wheels. I have those lightweight wheels that Rich brought. I can test those. But having the concrete gear, if I can get it made by the weekend, and there's no saying I can, I'm just going to frame this out tonight. So far this plane has been a very pleasant surprise. It's needed virtually no trim. It's been boring, in fact, to fly it. So we've made up an extra set of lines and handle for this weekend. But in the meantime, I want to bend up the wires and just show this little technique I have for making. If you fly half on concrete, half on grit, you can always live with just having the other, use the grass gear on the concrete, but you can't use the concrete gear on the grass or the plane noses over and you damage it or break the rudder or whatever. It's not a good thing to be doing that. That's not one of the choices we want to have. Now before we get rolling here, before I clear off the deck, Warren Walker made this little test muffler up. I have to open up that hole, and this is going to be for any of us, including the Jet, the Webbers, or the Maxes. Because I'll make an adapter plate for this. I wanted to see if I could have the choice of having the exhaust real close to the engine inside the cowl when we get to do that on a B-25. Not sure if this is going to work. I want to basically clean this hole out. See, a lot of weld is in there. And then what I want to try to do is run a little test back to back with the muffling system that Zambelli has where it comes out straight. We know that one works fine. But this will give us one more choice of muffler when we go to put that together. From our friend who did the welding, Warren Walker, this is his Strega. Now notice the lettering he came up with. He came up with some pretty exotic, I guess that's not non-traditional. And he's got God Bless America on the tail, something I certainly, and on this one, Windy Stinks. Oh no, it says Windy Videos. Warren, I'm not sure your lettering is, he's got some thank lettering. I call it thanks lettering. Dear Wendy, if you'd lose a little weight, your wife would find you more attractive. Warren, who made this lettering up? Anyway, Warren, of course, one of our team players that's done a lot for us over the years. Cables and different odds and ends that we found very helpful. I like this logo, Warren. I don't know who did this logo up. And we hope John Brodak's going to have kits soon. You know, that's just another thing. A lot of people interested in Strega. Just hard to imagine how many people are psyched about having a Strega kit soon. Now this is one of the things Warren had told me about. We talked about it. Let me get the rest of these pictures on here. He had told me about this little jig he made for he can paint out in his backyard all year long. Warren, it's cheating if you live in California. You got to live where it snows and rains on the same day. And anyway, look, he did the Kent Ticer kind of scoop. But he was telling me about this jig he made to hold the parts while he's painting them. That would be an excellent little thing for Stunt News if Warren felt like doing it. Write a little article and show just some close-ups of how all the little parts are attached. Nice to be able to work in your backyard like that. Anyway, from Warren Walker, the pride of sunny California, and we're going to go bend some wire. One of the very significant things that I've seen a lot of people do is they go to the Nationals, they have a plane that's all set up to fly on grass, they get to the nets and they don't have a set of gear, or they don't bend the gear or move the gear. You always want the gear when you're flying on tar to be further back than if they would be where they would be if it were on grass. Now we could bend these, but then you got to bend them back. Then next day you go to fly, you got to bend them back. It's easier since they just come apart, and I love having everything come apart like this. It's just easier to bend up another set of wires and make another set of gear. It's just a lot easier in the long run. Now I remember how many times I'd get to the Nationals and pretty much have the grass gear on a plane and say, oh yeah, I'll do that when I get to the yeah. And when you get there, you have 100 other things to do. Get all the roaches out of the mattress and everything, and by the time you're done, you really wish you would have done it home. So trying to use up some shop time here. Now I have a little pattern of the original gear, so I'm just going to shorten it just maybe 1/4 of an inch or so, because it's going to be further back. I want this to be just a little bit longer. In this case, I want to make this just at this end of it, maybe the thickness of the wire longer. Shows you what a scientific method I have here of doing this. Just use that for a little dead stop. Always have to allow for the spring of the wire. And I only usually bend maybe 20 or 30 before I get two that match. Not my favorite thing. Okay, now I have this leg just the way I want. Now I want to match this. Now this leg I want to be the same. So I need to allow for the material. Pull this up. Very scientific amount. You can see I've measured it with a micrometer. I remember years ago doing all these kits and just, you'd almost buy a kit just so you didn't have to bend the wire. Okay, now I've got what I want. I want it a little bit longer and a little bit longer in that dimension. So now, this is now not my pattern. This is the new pattern. Now I'm just going to make the second piece up to match this one, and then we'll go over and get the fine tuning on the plane. Another trick you can use if you really want to be cute, you can bend two wires at the same time. Problem with that is if you make a mistake, you've thrown two wires away instead of one. Always good to make these longer than they have to be and trim them when you're done. So all I'm checking for is to make sure it's longer than what I really need. I can use my same little fake measurements there. And the nice thing is if they're wrong, just bend up another one. Now those look like they're pretty good. I have to true up that leg. Get this leg equal and we're all set. Now with the two wires bent, the very first job is going to be from this view to get them both, let's see if we can get back there, that they both line up right there. See, they're lining up right there. So we have that angle. Now, it won't matter. We're just going to put the little covers on and the wheels on that we're going to use, and we want to check for prop clearance. The problem with this is if we have to move it a little bit forward or back, we want to have this, whichever one we're going to bend. So let's say it's going to go forward, we'll move this one forward and then check the alignment, move the back one till it matches up to this one. If it's the other way around, we'll bend one and then bend the other one so they're always in alignment this way. That's step one. And once we're happy with that, we'll bend the axles and get a true reading on the axles so they line up with the center line of the lead outs. Now we always do, and this is where it just takes time, and it's probably going to take the rest of this session, but I'll get it as accurate as I can here. I know the CG of the plane. I know that I'm going to now bend the wires back. Until I can do this, I have about 1 inch of prop clearance, which is fine. That'll work. That'll be plenty. But what I want to have is, for flying on concrete, for making those landings where the tail wheel stays up and then just before you slow down, it drops down. The whole trick of doing that is to have the plane, when it's just like this, when I let it go, see it's still going back. So what I'm going to do now is about 1/8 of an inch at a time. Bend this one back 1/8 of an inch, then bend that one back 1/8 of an inch so they match, and try the same test over again. At some point it'll just teeter-totter and just want to fall back. Then I could go, if I really want to be safe, go forward just 1/16 of an inch. That kind of prevents the tail from coming up when guys don't launch it properly. But what this allows me to do is get it really fine-tuned before I ever have to fly on pavement. See, the wheels are in pretty good alignment. There's 2 wires, 1 wire. I'm guessing all we're going to have to go back is possibly 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, something like that. But the whole trick is always do one and then match it to the second one. An example, we have the wire furthest from us bent back, the one closest to us, and we want to get this one bent so that they're both in true alignment. And then we're going to run a ruler across the top to try to get the pretend an imaginary point in the middle of the circle, that there was a straight line, and I use a 4-foot ruler to just get it as close as possible so you don't have that thing when it lands it wants to either pull away from you or even worse, turn in. Now the last thing, of course, is to true up the wires in this dimension and just try to get an imaginary point. Now I can see right off the bat this is not 90 degrees, so I can go back to the jig and get a true 90. In that correction, now I can see from the top we're okay on both of them, but from the front we're not. This angle needs to be, we have to turn that, both of them, they're both faded out. Again, back to the jig, back one way or another. So at some time, we'll get all the angles right, but we can just go, just like putting a jigsaw puzzle together. In fact, this one, I want them tracking as relatively straight as possible. I want it straight in this dimension. A lot of bending and tweaking and cursing, and this is exactly the point at which I like to start. with pavement gear. I'll just let it go and it's, just takes a split second. Right there is where it'll land. It'll just hold the tail wheel up and we'll be in great shape. Now we're not going to be able to get these much more done on a landing gear, but we do have the wires bent. Now unfortunately we're at the end of the tape. This is all we're going to be able to get done today. Hey, just before we end the tape, let me say thanks to Dub and Donna Jet. We just really enjoyed their company. Hope they had a good time too. Nope, we're going to be, well, I've already mailed him out one of the 60s that we're gonna do a little experiment on, dropping a liner on one of these. There'll be a lot of fun with this. In addition to the B25, we'll be ready to ink that. I'm just waiting for a day that the weather is unflyable, and I'll do that. Get back into the inking routine. And on a B25, all that's left is going to be really to ink the wing. Not many other things to do. The lettering, even in the AMA numbers, look like they're going to be fine. Now the reason I haven't worked on this, and I've taken a couple days off to work on other projects, first off, it's not a race. I'm not trying to race this project through. And I really wanted to take a day, maybe a couple of days, and dedicate them to making up all the little templates and things for the ink lines. But I can do that on a day that it's not flyable. I can do that on a rainy day or whatever. In the meantime, I've gotten all caught up on my shop projects. The Typhoon is ready to fly when his turn comes in the batting order. Miss Ashley's ready to go fly in Palisade Park next week. We're going to have a lot of neat things happening. And most of all, we're going to be finishing this guy up real soon. I'm guessing 2, maybe 3 weeks the most. The buffing, and believe me, before it goes flying, and then the Zetron. We don't have the Zetron yet, so even if we had it finished, we need to get some of the electronics from Sergio that he's developing. Anyway, thanks to everybody for contributing and joining us. I think this is going to be the best flying season ever. And I don't think I'm alone in feeling that way. Even Chickadooley figures, what the hell, he'll have a drink of soda. Look at this, he's drinking my soda. Hey, sodas are $1. You're going to go live in Houston where it's hot all the time. Dubjet's dog is going to eat you. I'm not kidding, Chicky. I'm not kidding, you need better manners. Look, he drank my soda. Anyway, I always keep this note right on Chicky's cage to inspire me to do the best I can on the V25. And Mom, we're building it for you. Olga's Oriole. And again, please share the tapes with all your friends. This is such a great hobby. It's a shame that anybody would miss it. Always remember the famous saying from my karate lesson days. Cry in the dojo, laugh on the battlefield. See you on the next tape. I'll bet there's a message right here that Dub Jet agrees with. Anyway, really looking forward to working with Dub in the future, and hope we're going to be able to get down to Houston. And if I get there, we'll get some videotape of his amazing shop. Look for it on a future Windy video. And I still think Miss Ashley is one of the prettiest planes, period. Sit in the shop here, I look up at the Typhoon, I look down at Miss Ashley, look over at the B25, and then I notice Tricky is drinking the rest of my soda. Hey, just in case you were wondering if there are any poisonous snakes in Jersey, you always got to look in the grass. There's always a poisonous snake somewhere. There you are trying to launch your plane, and the rare Ertnowski rattler comes out. And by the way, today I was reminded by Mike Brooks, today is the day, the anniversary of the raid on Tokyo by the B-25s. today. Well, I guess we'll close out the video with a little shot of Jimmy Doolittle.